Good evening and welcome. Today, we delve into the pivotal 1947 to 1948 battles in the Uri region, an episode that shaped the Indo-Pakistani conflict over Kashmir. We'll explore Brigadier L.P. Sen's resourceful strategies, his troops' resilience in harsh conditions, and the lasting impact of defending this strategic territory. Let's dive into these critical lessons in military history and national sovereignty. Let's talk about Uri, a region that has been far more than just a dot on the map for India and Pakistan. This isn't merely a border area, it's a strategically crucial region with high stakes for both nations. Uri sits at the heart of the conflict, a place where military significance meets political symbolism. Whoever holds Uri gains a tactical advantage over Kashmir's rugged landscape, and with that, a measure of control over the wider region. It's no wonder both nations have invested heavily in securing and, at times, even wrestling for dominance here. But the real story lies deeper. This isn't just a skirmish over territory, it's part of a far bigger narrative, the Kashmir conflict, one of the world's longest-standing and most complex geopolitical issues. Kashmir represents a clash of identities, histories, and ambitions. For decades, India and Pakistan have both laid claim to this region, each with its own perspective, each with its own vision for the future. And Uri, perched at the edge of Kashmir, has been the stage for countless battles and negotiations. The stakes couldn't be higher. Both India and Pakistan are nuclear-armed neighbors, and every move here is a test of resilience and restraint. Tensions flare, ceasefires come and go, but the volatility remains a constant. Uri's history is a testament to this, a region scarred by clashes and attacks that highlight the fragility of peace between these two countries. Each skirmish, every strategic advance, isn't just a military operation, it's a stark reminder of unresolved tensions simmering beneath the surface. In 1948, as limited successes unfolded on the Uri front, they added yet another chapter to this fraught relationship. Limited progress, yes, but every inch gained or lost here has echoed across borders, impacting the delicate balance of power in South Asia. This is what makes Uri more than just a battleground, it's a symbol of the enduring conflict, a flashpoint that has kept both countries vigilant and, at times, on edge. As we delve deeper into Uri's complex and volatile role, we can't overlook the roots of this high-stakes conflict. The Indo-Pakistani War of 1947 to 1948 wasn't just a military clash, it was a historic moment that forever shaped South Asia's landscape, setting the stage for the long-standing Kashmir dispute. The Indo-Pakistani War of 1947 to 1948, a conflict that left an indelible mark on South Asia, was far more than a military encounter. It was a pivotal confrontation that laid the foundation for the complex, unresolved territorial dispute over Kashmir between India and Pakistan. This first war, coming so soon after both countries gained independence, wasn't just about drawing borders, it was about shaping national identities and solidifying claims over the contested, culturally rich, and strategically vital region of Kashmir. The consequences of this war are still felt today, influencing political, military, and diplomatic strategies in both countries for generations. At the heart of this conflict lies the Uri region, an area that is more than just a spot on the map. Positioned along the line of control, LOC, Uri's strategic importance stems from its geographical proximity to the Kashmir Valley, one of the most contested and politically sensitive areas in South Asia. Whoever controls Uri holds a tactical advantage, with direct access to critical areas within Kashmir, making it a linchpin in the ongoing tug-of-war over the region. Uri's geopolitical significance is clear. As both a military stronghold and a gateway into Kashmir, it holds the potential to influence the entire region's security dynamics. This is why Uri has been a flashpoint in the Kashmir dispute since 1947, and why it remains a critical area of focus for both India and Pakistan. This region's control not only determines the movement of troops but also serves as a symbol of broader political power, making it central to the Kashmir conflict. But what makes Uri so essential in this high-stakes chess game between India and Pakistan? Why does control over this rugged terrain and its access routes hold such power in the Kashmir conflict? Let's uncover the layers of Uri's strategic importance. Strategic importance of Uri. The Uri region isn't just a strategic asset, it's a military necessity in the context of the Indo-Pakistani conflict over Kashmir. Let's start with the mountainous terrain. Uri is situated amidst steep, rugged mountains, making it naturally defensible and highly valuable in military terms. The terrain itself acts as a shield, offering natural defensive positions that are difficult for enemy forces to penetrate. It also limits mobility, slowing down advances and making every move a calculated decision. This rugged geography is what turns Uri into a fortress-like asset, and whoever controls it gains a defensive upper hand. Another critical factor is Uri's proximity to the Kashmir Valley. This location isn't just a coincidence, it's a strategic vantage point. From Uri, one can access the Kashmir Valley, a central point in the larger Indo-Pakistani dispute. Holding Uri doesn't only mean securing a physical region, it means having influence over Kashmir's heartland. It's about controlling the doorway to the valley, and with it, the ability to exert influence over the broader conflict. This proximity is what gives Uri its undeniable military and symbolic weight in the Kashmir dispute. Then there are the key transportation routes that run through Uri, linking the Kashmir Valley to the rest of India. This connectivity is what turns Uri into a logistical lifeline. Major highways and roads pass through the region, acting as essential arteries for movement, supplies, and reinforcements. Whichever side holds Uri holds the logistical advantage, meaning faster mobilization, efficient supply chains, and stronger defensive capabilities. This control over transportation routes makes Uri more than just a strategic location. It becomes an invaluable logistical hub, a keystone in the defense and connectivity of the Kashmir Valley with mainland India. With Uri's strategic value now clear, here's the next question: how did leaders on the ground tackle these challenges amid daunting odds? Enter Brigadier L.P. Sen, who faced not just an advancing enemy but a mountain of logistical and environmental hurdles. What strategies did he employ to defend this critical region with limited resources? Let's dive into his story. Brigadier L.P. Sen faced a formidable set of challenges as he stepped onto the Uri front, a region of immense strategic value in the Kashmir conflict. First and foremost, limited military forces posed an immediate hurdle. Brigadier Sen was tasked with defending this critical border region with a small, under-equipped force, a daunting task when faced with the advancing Pakistani incursion. This wasn't just a question of numbers. The lack of sufficient arms, ammunition, and reinforcements turned every maneuver into a high-stakes decision. Defending Uri, a region of such strategic importance, with limited resources, required not just military skill but remarkable resilience and adaptability. The harsh winter conditions added another layer of difficulty. Kashmir's severe winter was unrelenting, with heavy snowfall and sub-zero temperatures. These conditions not only tested the endurance of Brigadier Sen's troops but also posed significant logistical challenges. Supplies froze, communication lines were often disrupted, and transportation became a battle in itself. For Brigadier Sen, deploying and sustaining his forces effectively was a challenge that went beyond strategy. It was a battle against nature. Every move had to be calculated, with weather as much a consideration as enemy positioning. Compounding these issues were supply chain disruptions. Uri's remote location made the delivery of supplies and reinforcements a logistical nightmare. Damaged roads and unstable infrastructure hindered efforts to get critical resources to the front lines. Transportation bottlenecks slowed down reinforcements, and the troops faced frequent shortages of food, ammunition, and medical supplies. In such conditions, every supply convoy became a lifeline, and every disruption posed a risk to the defensive strategy in Uri. This forced Brigadier Sen to improvise, working with limited resources to maintain morale and readiness under grueling circumstances. Together, these challenges made Brigadier Sen's task in Uri nothing short of monumental. With a small, under-equipped force, a harsh winter climate, and a disrupted supply chain, he had to defend a region pivotal to the larger conflict. His resilience in the face of these obstacles set a critical precedent, highlighting both the human and logistical toll of the Kashmir conflict. Brigadier L.P. Sen was known not only for his tactical prowess but also for his clear-eyed assessment of complex battlefield scenarios. When he arrived in the strategically crucial Uri region, he quickly provided a thorough analysis of both its significance and the considerable challenges his forces would face. Brigadier Sen understood that Uri's location along the line of control made it a key defensive point in the Kashmir conflict, a region where every inch counted. To hold Uri was to maintain a foothold in Kashmir, a position essential not just for military advantage but also for asserting control in the broader Indo-Pakistani dispute over Kashmir. However, Brigadier Sen's appreciation of the situation went beyond just understanding the terrain. He recognized the severe limitations in his military resources, which meant he couldn't rely on sheer numbers or overwhelming firepower to secure the region. Instead, he had to think tactically, working with what he had, a small, under-equipped force against a well-supplied adversary. Strategizing how to position his troops effectively was no easy task. He needed to make the most of every soldier and every piece of equipment, choosing defensive positions with precision, leveraging natural cover, and maintaining a constant state of readiness to fend off the Pakistani forces. The logistical challenges in Uri only heightened the complexity. The brutal winter conditions brought snow, freezing temperatures, and isolation, further straining his ability to sustain and supply his troops. Roads were often impassable, supply convoys delayed or interrupted. Understanding that the situation called for resilience and resourcefulness, Brigadier Sen devised methods to counter these logistical strains, whether that meant stockpiling essentials in advance, organizing makeshift supply chains, or coordinating with local resources to keep his men equipped and ready. In his assessment of the situation, Brigadier Sen demonstrated not only tactical skill but also an acute awareness of the obstacles that came with defending a critical and unforgiving region. His approach underscored the necessity of adaptability, strategic foresight, and an unwavering commitment to defending India's position in the Kashmir conflict, even under the harshest of conditions. So, how did Brigadier Sen turn an impossible situation into a determined defense? It was his keen assessment of the battlefield that set the stage. He saw Uri not just as terrain but as a critical chess piece in the larger conflict. But with limited troops and resources, what strategies did he deploy to hold the line against overwhelming odds? Let's explore his tactical approach. In the face of overwhelming odds, Brigadier L.P. Sen crafted a strategy that balanced both defense and offense, turning his limited resources into a formidable line of resistance. His approach began with the strategic deployment of battalions, positioning his forces in key areas across the Uri region. He knew that with limited troops, every placement counted. Uri's mountainous terrain and critical transportation routes became focal points, allowing Brigadier Sen to cover key entry points and secure pathways that were essential not only for movement but also for reinforcements and supplies. By holding these crucial positions, he created a defensive network that fortified the region's most vulnerable points, making it difficult for the Pakistani forces to break through. However, Brigadier Sen's strategy was not solely defensive. He knew that maintaining control in Uri required targeted counterattacks to disrupt and deter the advancing Pakistani forces. Rather than engaging in exhaustive, large-scale battles, he launched precise, calculated offensives aimed at destabilizing the enemy's momentum. These counterattacks were methodical, aimed at reclaiming high-value positions and keeping the enemy from establishing strongholds in the region. By striking with precision, Brigadier Sen's forces managed to stay agile and retain control over essential areas, despite their smaller numbers and limited resources. Adaptability was a constant theme in Brigadier Sen's approach. The harsh winter conditions in Kashmir presented obstacles that went beyond traditional military challenges. Heavy snowfall, freezing temperatures, and limited infrastructure could have crippled troop morale and logistical support. But Brigadier Sen countered these conditions with innovative logistics, finding ways to sustain his troops in isolation. He established makeshift supply chains, stockpiled essential resources in advance, and improvised ways to keep his men prepared and operational, even in the most grueling weather. His ability to adapt under such harsh conditions was a testament to his commitment and resourcefulness, ensuring that his forces maintained their readiness despite the environmental and logistical difficulties. In balancing defensive fortifications, strategic offensives, and logistical innovation, Brigadier Sen created a resilient, adaptive force that held strong in Uri, a true reflection of tactical brilliance in the face of adversity. As Brigadier Sen assessed the battlefield with precision, the stakes soon escalated into a series of defining battles. How did his troops, against all odds, withstand the relentless Pakistani advances? Let's dive into the key engagements at Uri, where every inch held became a testament to resilience and strategy. The Uri front witnessed a series of critical battles, each one a testament to Brigadier LP Sen's leadership and the tenacity of his troops. Foremost among these was the defense of Uri itself. This was not merely a defensive action, it was a well-coordinated stand against relentless Pakistani incursions. Holding the strategically vital region of Uri was essential for maintaining control over Kashmir's access points. Brigadier Sen's forces were outnumbered and under-equipped, yet they leveraged the mountainous terrain and deployed tactically precise positioning to hold their ground. This defense of Uri wasn't just about territory, it became a statement of Indian resolve and military acumen, demonstrating their ability to outmaneuver and repel an advancing enemy against the odds. Another key engagement was the Battle of Mahura. This battle was fierce, as Pakistani forces launched a determined and aggressive assault, aiming to overwhelm the Indian troops. However, the Indian forces, under Brigadier Sen's command, stood resiliently against a numerically superior adversary. The troops used their intimate knowledge of the landscape and strategic positioning to mount a formidable defense, repelling the attack and preserving control over Mahura. This victory wasn't just tactical, it was symbolic, showcasing the resolve of Indian forces to defend every inch of their territory despite the challenges posed by a powerful, well-prepared opponent. Brigadier Sen's adaptability became especially crucial as his forces contended with the brutal winter conditions of Kashmir. In an environment where sub-zero temperatures, heavy snowfall, and limited infrastructure could easily cripple a military operation, innovative logistics and strategic troop deployments allowed the Indian forces to sustain their position. Sen's resourcefulness in establishing makeshift supply routes, stockpiling essentials, and using terrain to his advantage enabled his troops to remain operational and effective in one of the harshest winters on record. His ability to keep his forces agile and supplied in these conditions proved invaluable, demonstrating that victory in Uri was as much about endurance and adaptation as it was about direct engagement with the enemy. Together, these battles underscored the strategic importance of the Uri front and the unwavering resilience of Indian forces under Brigadier Sen's command. Every inch defended, every battle won, reinforced India's position in the larger conflict and proved that determination and tactical mastery could overcome even the harshest conditions and most challenging adversaries. Understanding and anticipating the enemy's movements became one of Brigadier Sen's primary strategic priorities on the Uri front. His forces were continuously monitoring Pakistani troop positions and movement patterns, analyzing every shift and change. This intelligence-gathering effort was crucial. By closely tracking the enemy, Indian forces could anticipate upcoming attacks, adapt defensive strategies, and plan precise countermeasures. Every maneuver and adjustment was based on real-time insights, allowing Brigadier Sen's troops to stay one step ahead. This close monitoring wasn't just tactical, it was the foundation of India's defensive strength in Uri, ensuring that the enemy's strategies were disrupted before they could gain momentum. One of the most impactful countermeasures was disrupting Pakistani reinforcements. Pakistani forces relied on specific supply lines and routes to strengthen their position and bring in reinforcements. Brigadier Sen's forces focused on identifying these crucial pathways and then targeting them to cut off the enemy's supply chain. By creating choke points and disrupting reinforcements, Indian troops effectively limited the combat capabilities of the Pakistani forces. These disruptions didn't just slow the enemy down, they weakened their ability to sustain prolonged engagements, giving Brigadier Sen's forces a strategic upper hand in the region. Finally, defending key transportation nodes became essential to maintaining control over Uri. This was about securing logistical lifelines that ran through the region, the roads and highways that connected Uri to the broader Kashmir Valley and mainland India. By holding these critical transportation points, Indian forces restricted the enemy's freedom of movement, making it difficult for Pakistani troops to reposition, resupply, or regroup. Securing these nodes meant preserving India's logistical advantage, ensuring that reinforcements and supplies could reach Indian troops while denying the same flexibility to the enemy. This control over transportation routes was a strategic linchpin, cementing Uri as a fortified stronghold and forcing the Pakistani forces to operate at a disadvantage. In essence, Brigadier Sen's focus on monitoring enemy movements, disrupting reinforcements, and defending vital nodes transformed the Uri front into a defensible, resilient line. Through these calculated strategies, Indian forces turned Uri into a point of control and resistance, showcasing a level of tactical intelligence and adaptability that consistently kept the enemy at bay. The attack on Mahura powerhouse stands out as a defining moment on the Uri front. This fiercely contested battle saw Indian troops hold their ground against a determined Pakistani assault, despite being outnumbered and outgunned. The Mahura powerhouse, a critical infrastructure point in the region, was a high-value target that Pakistan sought to capture to disrupt power supply and weaken Indian positions. However, Indian forces, resilient and strategically positioned, repelled the attack with remarkable tenacity. Their success in the Battle of Mahura not only secured the powerhouse but also demonstrated their resolve to defend every strategic point, regardless of the odds stacked against them. Another significant victory was the defense of the Uri-Baramulla line of communication. This line was a crucial logistical corridor connecting Uri to Baramulla and the broader Kashmir Valley. By successfully defending this line, Brigadier Sen's forces maintained a lifeline for reinforcements, supplies, and troop movements, effectively denying Pakistani forces a foothold in the region. This defense wasn't easy. Alongside relentless Pakistani incursions, Indian troops faced harsh winter conditions that tested their endurance and adaptability. Yet, through tactical prowess, resourceful logistics, and sheer resilience, Brigadier Sen's forces held the Uri region, turning this line of communication into a backbone for India's defense strategy in Kashmir. Adding to the historical significance of these battles is the importance of photographic evidence, particularly of sites like the Mahura powerhouse. A photograph of this strategic location would reinforce the scale of the challenges faced by Indian troops, both the physical landscape they defended and the intense conditions under which they operated. Images capture more than just locations, they offer a glimpse into the determination of Brigadier Sen's forces as they fought to hold key positions and defend India's interests in Kashmir. This visual documentation would serve as a lasting testament to their resilience and tactical expertise in the face of adversity. Through these notable incidents, the Indian defense of Uri not only safeguarded strategic assets but also solidified a legacy of bravery and tactical mastery. These outcomes illustrate the significance of every victory and the cumulative impact of securing the Uri region in the broader Kashmir conflict. Brigadier L.P. Sen's leadership on the Uri front exemplifies decisive and innovative military strategy, especially in the face of daunting limitations. One of his most notable choices was the decisive deployment of limited forces. With only a small, under-equipped contingent at his disposal, Brigadier Sen focused on defending key transportation routes and critical locations. He understood that controlling these routes was essential not only for maintaining Indian defenses but also for preserving vital supply lines that kept his forces equipped and ready. By positioning his troops at these pivotal points, he maximized the impact of his limited resources, creating a strategic shield that allowed his smaller force to achieve a greater defensive reach. In addition to his defensive tactics, Brigadier Sen's use of targeted counterattacks showcased his ability to turn the tables against a numerically superior adversary. Rather than engaging in exhaustive confrontations, he launched precise, well-timed counteroffensives designed to disrupt Pakistani advances and reclaim high-value areas. These counterattacks weren't about sheer force, they were about precision and impact. Each move destabilized the enemy's progress, forcing them to regroup and reassess, giving Indian forces critical breathing room and keeping Pakistani troops from establishing a foothold in the region. Through these calculated offensives, Brigadier Sen's forces were able to regain control over strategic areas, reinforcing India's position in the ongoing conflict. Perhaps one of the most remarkable aspects of Brigadier Sen's strategy was his innovative approach to logistics in severe winter conditions. The harsh winter in Kashmir threatened to cripple his troops' ability to remain operational, with freezing temperatures, snowfall, and isolation posing constant threats to supply and morale. Yet, Brigadier Sen devised creative logistical solutions, such as makeshift supply chains, advanced stockpiling, and coordinated local support, to keep his troops equipped, nourished, and ready for combat. This adaptability in the face of harsh conditions wasn't just a logistical success, it was a morale booster, demonstrating to his troops that they could overcome environmental challenges and continue to hold their ground. Together, Brigadier Sen's decisions reflect a blend of tactical ingenuity, adaptability, and resolute leadership. His ability to make high-impact choices with limited resources underscores his legacy as a strategist who leveraged every available asset to maximum effect, solidifying India's defensive position in the critical Uri region. The enduring significance of the battles in Uri cannot be overstated. These engagements were more than isolated military actions, they were decisive events that set the tone for the ongoing Indo-Pakistani conflict over Kashmir. The battles in Uri reinforced India's commitment to defending its territory in the face of intense pressure, a stance that has influenced diplomatic, military, and political policies in the region for decades. The defense of Uri became a symbol of India's determination, underscoring the strategic value of the Kashmir region and laying a foundation for the complex relationship between India and Pakistan that continues to shape South Asia's geopolitical landscape. Brigadier Sen's campaign in Uri also provides enduring lessons in overcoming resource constraints. His ability to defend strategic locations with limited troops and resources demonstrated how effective strategy, innovative logistics, and disciplined troop management could compensate for numerical and material shortages. His leadership serves as a case study in maximizing the potential of every available asset, proving that with ingenuity and resilience, even a small, under-equipped force can make a significant impact. Brigadier Sen's approach has become a benchmark in military strategy, inspiring tactics for defending high-stakes regions with limited resources. To honor these achievements and the sacrifices of Indian troops, a commemorative monument in Uri would be a fitting tribute. Such a monument would serve as a lasting reminder of the bravery and determination displayed by Indian soldiers in defending the nation's interests under some of the harshest conditions imaginable. It would not only memorialize the fallen but also inspire future generations to recognize the depth of commitment shown in battles like those in Uri. This monument would stand as a testament to resilience, a symbol of national pride, and a reminder of the sacrifices made in the name of defending sovereignty. In summary, the battles in Uri left an indelible mark on the Indo-Pakistani conflict and offered valuable lessons in resourcefulness, resilience, and tactical innovation. Honoring the efforts of Brigadier Sen and his troops reminds us of the strength required to defend strategic ground, no matter the odds. To conclude, we can say that the battles in the Uri region have left a lasting legacy in the context of the Indo-Pakistani conflict over Kashmir. These encounters were not merely tactical victories but pivotal moments that set the tone for decades of regional strategy and territorial defense. By holding the line in Uri, Indian forces demonstrated both military resilience and an unyielding commitment to sovereignty, underscoring the region's importance in South Asia's political landscape. One of the most enduring takeaways from Brigadier Sen's leadership in Uri is the lesson in overcoming resource constraints. Through innovative logistics, strategic troop positioning, and precise counterattacks, Brigadier Sen transformed a limited force into an effective defensive unit, showcasing how resourceful strategies can compensate for numerical and material shortages. This approach has inspired modern military doctrines, proving that creativity and adaptability can often overcome even the most severe limitations. In retrospect, the battles of Uri stand as a testament to the determination, strategic prowess, and courage of Brigadier Sen and his troops. Their legacy endures as a symbol of resilience and strategic foresight, offering valuable lessons in both military tactics and the importance of defending national sovereignty under any circumstances. If you found this discussion insightful, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This helps us reach more aspirants and history enthusiasts like you. Stay tuned for more updates on pivotal events, strategic insights, and inspiring stories from history. Thanks for watching.